I'm gonna try to solve this 5,000 piece puzzle in 2 days. This is my biggest speed run yet. What am I getting myself into? I'm loving this project. I'm having a great time. Everything hurts. My brain hurts. My body hurts. Every part of me hurts. Look at how many pieces there are. Oh my God. So here's where this idea came from. Jean and Kathy Roiter are two of the fastest puzzlers in the entire world. And earlier this year, they challenged themselves to do a 5,000 piece puzzle all in one day. It was this exact puzzle, and they managed to do it in 13 hours and 49 minutes. So I figured, if two of them can do this puzzle in one day, then one of me should be able to do this puzzle in 2 days. Science. And the Reuters sent me all of their progress photos, so we're gonna be able to go in and compare our progress hour by hour. So the plan is to get started at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I think I can put in a good 14 hours from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Let's just hope that I get a good night's sleep tonight. Oh my God, it's so many pieces. You never think it's that many pieces, and then you see them all in front of you and you're like, this is so many pieces. All right, it is just about 7 a.m. I'm just about to get started. The sun hasn't quite come up yet, so I do need to have the overhead lights on. I have a clock right there so I can keep an eye on my time this entire time. I did apparently just miss starting exactly at 7, but I'm gonna get started in just a minute. I've got all kinds of trays ready to go for the sorting. I put all the pieces back in the box. I already had a quick breakfast, so I think this is it. Once I start, I'm gonna be puzzling for the next probably 14 hours. Oh, and my goal is to finish the sorting and finish the edge by, let's say, 10 a.m. All right, this is it. I'm getting started at 7:05. Here we go. All right, time to start the sorting. Purple. All right, here's my purple pile. Blue, here's the blue pile. Here's some red. Ooh, yellow windows. That's gonna be a pile. Oh my gosh, there's so many pieces. Less than a minute in, I'm already like, all right, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. That's all I'm gonna be telling myself, I got this. All right, so before we get too far into it, let me show you the full image so you can see what we're working towards. There's a lot of detail and a lot of color separation, so I decided to do a full color sort up front. And so while I keep sorting, let me clarify a few things. Usually, when I do a giant puzzle video, I'm solving it sort of based on how it'll look on video. I'll set up the camera, do it one section at a time, and set aside pieces so I can get those nice shots of a single piece going in. This time, though, I'm not at all worried about aesthetics. This challenge is hard enough that all I'm worried about is solving the puzzle as efficiently as possible. Also, the days that worked best for me to film happened to be pretty cloudy outside, so I did keep the overhead lights on the whole time, so the footage might just look a little different from what you're used to when I film with studio lights or with sunlight. All right, it's 9:35 and I just finished all of the sorting. So here's how I sorted everything. We have all of the edges, then we have all of the sky pieces. I put all the dark and the light ones all together. Then all of the yellow windows. Then all of the sidewalk pieces. Then all the teal pieces. Then we have all the purple pieces. Then all the green pieces. Then we have all of the red pieces. And then we have the bricks and a big miscellaneous tray. I actually thought there would be more bricks, which is why I put that in the big box, but the miscellaneous pile ended up the biggest of them all. So then I had to get everything that I'm not working on off the table because it's time to start puzzling. There's no breaks in this challenge. You go straight from the sorting, straight into puzzling. So I started with the edge, as you do, and honestly, I was so happy to finally be puzzling. Once you're like an hour into sorting, it just feels like it goes on and on and on, and it'll never end. But it did end. Finally, I got there. Also, I just want to brag that I did find every single edge during that first sort. There wasn't a single edge piece that got mixed in with anything else. Okay, so I finished the edge at 10:13, which is just a little later than I hoped for, except I kept that top edge down towards the front of the table since I knew that I wanted to work on the sky first. And I didn't want to be sitting on the other side of the table and getting in the way of the tripod, so I decided just to work on the sky with it moved down close to me. So, unfortunately, I forgot to hit record for about 20 minutes here, but I got to work on the sky, starting with the moon and the purpley sections, and I worked on this until about 12:30, so that's a little over 2 hours. All right, it is 1 p.m., so let me pause for a sec and show you where we're at. It's going a little slower than I might have thought. I'm getting a little nervous about this challenge. So I do have a fair amount of the sky done, but it was going so slowly that I just didn't do this dark part yet, so I still have another tray of just the dark sky pieces that I'll have to work on later. But I wanted to get back into like stuff that's going on in the middle. So I did this purple building, which isn't that many pieces, but still kind of took a minute. And now I'm working on all of the different windows, and I also pulled all of the light yellow in there. So that's going to be this building on the side, Right now, I'm working on these teal windows and then that round one as well. But I really don't know. I might have to go past 9 p.m. tonight because there's still so much to do. Okay, so during the afternoon, I puzzled for about 6 hours straight. I didn't even stop for lunch. You can see me eating at the table around 2:30. And I was really just trying to do the easiest and most distinct sections from each of those colors that I had sorted. So then I decided to work on the sidewalk down at the bottom, and I think this was a mistake. I spread out all of the pieces on the actual board, but then I was stuck needing to finish it just to get those pieces off the board. And then I also jumped back up to the dark pieces in the sky, and I got some of them, but with the overhead lights on, I actually had a lot of glare. So again, I didn't quite finish it. So then I went over and I worked on the lighter section of the sky for a little while and, made some more progress on that. You guys, I honestly don't know about this. There's still so much more to go. It's 7 p.m. It's getting dark again outside, so I've officially used up all of the daylight for today. I puzzled from sunrise to sundown. I feel like I've been putting in so much stuff, and then I step back and I look at it, and it's just there's still so much more. The entire middle still has to get filled in. So, I don't know if I'm actually going to complete this challenge, but I think it's dinner time, and let me just show you just how fast this is. All right, in case you couldn't guess, today's video is sponsored by Factor. They're a meal delivery service where you get the meals fully cooked and fully prepared, sent straight to your door. So all you have to do is open them up, warm them up, and then you're ready to go. So remember this, I started at 7:08, so I put the meal in the microwave, I did a few stretches while it was microwaving, and then I took it out and put it on the plate, and then I was ready to eat at 7:13. Okay, that's so good. This is exactly what I need right now to keep me going. I'm probably still going to do another 3 hours tonight. And look, obviously, most of us aren't doing 5,000 piece puzzles every single day, but you might have finals or a big project at work where you just don't have time for a little while to put into meal planning. So what I like about Factor is that there's no commitment. You can cancel or pause anytime. So you can just get a week's worth of meals anytime you know you're gonna have a really busy week. And then I also wanted to mention that they also have snacks and add-ons besides meals. Earlier in the day, I had one of the Factor protein shakes, and it was exactly what I needed to keep me full and keep me going through this crazy challenge. So if you want to try it, you can head to factor75.com or click the link right down below and use code 50puzzles to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50puzzles at factor75.com for 50% off and free shipping on your first factor box. I'm so happy to be eating dinner while I puzzle. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to work on all of the red pieces, because I haven't looked at these in kind of a while. All right, so for the rest of the night, I wasn't really starting any new sections. I was just trying to fill in more of the different colors that I had already sorted out at the beginning. So I'll just let the music play us out as I keep puzzling late into the night. All right, that is going to be it for today. So I basically puzzled from 7:05 to 10:05, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that was a lot of puzzling for one day, but honestly, I'm feeling great. I'm having a great time. Looking at it now, I am feeling a little more optimistic that maybe I can finish it tomorrow. I hate to stop and go to sleep because, like, what if we hit midnight tomorrow and I'm almost done, but not quite? And then I'm like, I could have been working on it instead of sleeping. But I think I do have to go get some sleep and I'll get back to it in the morning. But before I go to bed, I pulled up the photo of the Roiter's halfway point just to compare my progress. And I feel like I might be a little further along than that. I mean, they might have sections going on boards like this that just aren't in the photo. But if this is their halfway point, I feel like I'm probably on track to finish it in the same amount of time tomorrow, if that makes sense. Oh boy. Let's do this again. All right. So it's just about 7 a.m. again, and I'm going to get started in just a few minutes, but let me give you a quick overview of what the plan is for today. I mean, obviously the plan is to finish this by midnight, which means I have 18 hours. No, which means I have 17 hours to get the rest of this done. Last night when I finished puzzling, I felt fine. And then I went to bed and went to sleep. And this morning when I woke up, I was just like, I'm more tired than I've ever been in my entire life. But okay, I can do this. This is a challenge. It's supposed to be challenging. So first, this might sound a little counterintuitive, and I know that not everyone is going to like this, but I have this tray of miscellaneous pieces and I have this board of miscellaneous pieces. I've been moving the pieces from the tray to the board as space opens up, but I don't really like having such a big, oh my God, almost just fell. But I don't really like having such a big board. It takes up so much of the table. I keep moving it to the floor and then I don't have access to look at it. And when I'm trying to look at all of these pieces, it's like too much and my eye just jumps around. I can't even focus on anything. So I think I'm just going to move those back to the tray, and I prefer just kind of pawing through and, seeing what I find. You know, I just prefer trays like this or smaller trays of sorted pieces. I just can't do like the giant trays, which is what the Reuters did. So I was kind of inspired by them, but I just don't think that's for me. And then let me just tell you, this tree, which I have entirely sorted out, so I should be able to just quickly get all of this together. I have looked at this so many times and just can't get my head around it. So, you know, this might be one of the last things I do, to be honest, because I just think, like, I don't know, I've looked at it and just don't put in a single piece. For some reason, this has just been really hard for me. So I think the plan for today is that I'm going to try to sort out all of the pieces with white on them and the pieces with gray, like over here, like the gray brickwork or gray stonework. That's probably more accurate. And then, you know, that'll knock out a bunch of buildings here in the middle. And then I'll have a lot more to work off of to start getting things connected in the middle. Because right now I just have a lot of like floating colorful sections. All right, so as I started on day 2, the thing that I kept telling myself is that on day 1, I spent the first 2.5 hours just sorting, and obviously I'm sorting through the miscellaneous box, but it's not nearly as many pieces. So I basically have an extra 2 hours of actual puzzling compared to the first day. And now that I have so much more to work off of, I'm always putting pieces in that I recognize all across the puzzle. And deciding to do all of the white and the gray pieces was a great move. I was making progress all morning. Well, until I made another mistake. All right, I just paused for a second to take my 9 a.m. photos, and let me show you what I just did. So I was making my way back to that corner. I knocked into this board. These were sorted like half and half, and then they spilled down into that tray and into the box under it. So now I have to sort all of this back out. Jean and Kathy told me that right at the end of their solve, they dropped an entire tray too. So I think this is just the curse of this challenge. Trays go everywhere. Okay, this was a big moment. Even though it's not a straight, unbroken line, I had the top and the bottom connected down the middle. So that's a big milestone for any giant puzzle. So as I kept working on it for the rest of the morning, I feel like this block is where you really see it tip past the halfway point. Like, I'm just putting stuff in so much faster all across the puzzle. I'm getting everything connected to each other in the middle. This is just so satisfying to watch. All right, so we're about 6 hours into today because it's 1:25. I started a little after 7, so we're 6 hours in, and I'm feeling so good about this. So good, in fact, that I actually took 20 minutes off to go and eat lunch on the couch instead of sitting here and eating while puzzling. But I'm ready to get back to this for the entire afternoon and however far into the night we have to go. So here's the plan. When I was looking at the progress photos from Jean and Kathy, they ended with all of the brickwork. And so this whole time, I kind of assumed that I would end there too, but I actually think that's going to be the next thing that I work on, because there are 3 other big sections that have been giving me trouble. All of the dark pieces in the sky, the purple pipes are just so confusing. And then, as I said before, this green tree, which I looked at again and still could not get my head around. So I think those 3 sections are going to be where I'm going to end. So I think I should move on to the bricks, and then I can get more things connected. Because I really do think I'm turning the corner now, where instead of just building like endless floating islands, things are getting connected. I'm filling in entire sections. So I'm feeling so good about this. I'm loving this project. I'm having a great time. Well, unfortunately, that was the last time that I had good things to say about this project. At this point, I'm already 20 hours into it, and here I'm doing another 4.5-hour block from 1:30 to 6 p.m. And don't get me wrong, I was making progress and filling in a lot of pieces, but my back was really starting to hurt, and mentally, I was fading. I was so tired, but I had already put in so much into this challenge that I couldn't stop now. I had to keep pushing through, even though under any other circumstances, I definitely would have stopped for the day. You guys, I have to be honest, I'm not doing well. I'm doing great on the puzzle. Personally, my back hurts. I can't even focus on the pieces anymore. Although I just saw a piece and I know where it goes. Hang on one sec. It goes up here. It goes up here. I started getting dizzy and had to look up and focus a little further away for a minute. So it's 6:25 right now. I actually just took a little break and had dinner. I stopped working at about 5:50, so it's been 35 minutes? And I'm glad I did that. I'm feeling a lot better now. But the reason I did that is because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna finish this today. So here it is. Look at how solid that's looking. I'm almost done. So it turns out all of these purple pipes, once I shape sorted, it was totally fine getting all of this together. I still haven't finished the night sky. I did some of it, but there are just so many chimneys that I just haven't tackled the chimneys yet. And of course, I still haven't done this section. This is the biggest section that I still have left. But do you remember that big miscellaneous box? These 2 trays are all that's left from the miscellaneous box. So I think what I'm going to do is try to fill in all of the little leftovers, all the little sections, and then I'm going to finish and finally do the tree. But it's just so satisfying seeing it all come together like this, even though we may have just about found the limit of how much puzzling I can do in 2 days. All right, we're almost there. But I remember this part going so slow Not because it was more difficult than other parts of the puzzle, but just because I was so tired that I was having trouble even seeing the pieces in front of me. I also took way too long to shape sort the last miscellaneous pieces. There weren't that many left, so I kept thinking I didn't need to, but I should have told myself, don't be a hero, use every strategy you possibly can at this point. Oh my gosh, everything hurts. My brain hurts, my body hurts, every part of me hurts. But look at all that I have left. So I finished the entire thing except for this one little section. As I said, this is where I'm gonna end. And these are all the pieces that are left. I'm actually gonna do it, and I'm gonna get to go to sleep at a reasonable hour. I'm so excited. All right, 5 pieces left, 4 pieces left, 3 pieces left. Here we go. All right, the very last piece. I'm done. I did it. What time did I finish? 8:46. Oh my gosh. I'm so tired. Everything hurts. I'm kind of sad that it's over though. That was really fun. But for once in my life, I really don't think I could puzzle anymore. I think that was my limit. All right, it's time for day 3 of the 5,000 piece puzzle. Oh wait, there is no day 3, because I already finished it. Okay, I have a lot to say about this challenge. Before I start getting into the data, I'm glad to know that I'm able to do this, but I do not recommend that you try this at home. I can't believe I have to say this about a puzzle challenge, but try at your own risk. Do not try this at home. I mean, if you have a pair and you're doing it all in one day, like what the Roiters did, I think that's probably fine, but I really don't think you should do what I did and do it solo 2 days in a row. I'm fine now, it's like a week later, but for a few days afterwards, my back was so sore. Like more sore than after any other video I've ever made. And then besides the physical issues, I just don't think it's as much fun to race through a giant puzzle like this. Like, the fun part is seeing it in progress and making your plan along the way and seeing it come together over a week or 2. It's sort of like chocolate cake. Eating 1 slice is great. Eating 2 slices is like a little indulgent, but it's still pretty good. Eating an entire cake at once, is way too much. But anyway, let's take a look at the data. So on day 1, just about 15 hours elapsed from when I started until I finished. But I wrote down every time I took a break, and so I wasn't puzzling for 38 minutes that day. So my time on day 1 was 14 hours and 21 minutes. And then on day 2, it was 13 hours and 31 minutes elapsed, but I took about an hour and a half off, and so my time for day 2 was just under 12 hours, which means my total time on this puzzle was 26 hours and 20 minutes. So now we can compare that to all of the other giant puzzles that I've done on the channel. It was just a little bit slower than the Pokemon puzzle, and also slower than the newer version of the 5,000-piece gradient puzzle. So then I want to compare my progress photos with the Roiter's progress photos. They took photos every half hour, and so I took photos every hour. So here at the beginning, you can see me doing a full sort, while they just spread everything out on these big boards. Then they started with purple, while I started with sky. And then at our 7th photos, you can see how we're approaching this completely differently. But by the 10th photo, they're starting to get more similar. And then skipping ahead to the 16th photo, which was the end of day 1 for me, they have the train and the dragon and the purple pipes already finished. But besides that, as I showed you guys earlier, our progress was very, very similar. So photo 21, again, is very similar with both of us doing all the buildings except for anything with brick. But then in photo 25, I'm working on completing entire sections, while they were working all over the board. In photo 27, I've finished the brick, while they have all of those pieces shape sorted. But they already did the dark sky and the tree, which I was leaving until last. And then in the final photo, right before finishing, it's completely different sections that we left until last. So comparing our times, the Roiters took 13 hours and 49 minutes from start to finish, but they told me later that they also took about 65 minutes off throughout the day, so their actual puzzling time was 12 hours and 44 minutes. So we can double those to compare it to my times. And so for both the elapsed time and the actual puzzling time, they were about an hour faster than me. Done. I did it! Done. I did it! I did it! And then before I go, I just have a few more fun facts about this challenge to share. First, everyone always wants to know what I'm listening to while I puzzle. And to be honest, kind of the entire reason why I took on this challenge is because I wanted an excuse to listen to the new Hunger Games audiobook all the way through in one sitting. So that's what I did for the entirety of day one. I just listened to that entire audiobook. Oh, and then another fun fact, this puzzle is actually 5,040 pieces. That's just the way the math works out when you multiply how many pieces are on each side. And so looking at the photo between the 2 days, I did this many pieces on day one and this many pieces on day two. Okay, so the artist behind this puzzle is Zoe Sadler, and if her style looks familiar, it's because she also did the 1,500 piece Mermaids puzzle, which my team didn't finish at the 2022 Nationals.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So honestly, finishing this challenge kind of feels like a redemption arc for me. But yeah, I think this puzzle is really well designed for a 5,000 piece puzzle. I assume she made this illustration knowing it would be for a 5,000 piece puzzle. I don't know that for sure, but that seems like the case. Because you never have a giant area that's all one color or all one texture. Like, there are so many little details all the way across the puzzle. All right, if you want to take on the Roiter challenge or just get this puzzle and do it for fun, which I recommend a lot more, I'm going to put the link for where you can get this puzzle down in the description. Let me know if you have a sister or a best friend or anyone in your life who's crazy enough to take on this challenge with you. Or let me know what is the biggest puzzle that you've ever done and how long did it take? Your code word for the comments will be tree. And now I'm gonna go do a normal sized puzzle at a normal speed and have a great time doing it.